I will be making just a very brief introduction of myself. I've been at this company now for 2 years. It is a growing and very exciting cell therapy company. We have an innovative approach. We do not administer stem cells to patients. We use stem cells as starting material to manufacture other cell types in the body. And then we transplant those other cell types as needed to treat various diseases and conditions. We have an enormous patent portfolio, upwards of 600, 700, 800 patents around the world. And we right now have 3 clinical stage programs, one in dry age-related macular degeneration, which is one of the leading causes of blindness in the world. We have a program in non-small cell lung cancer and in spinal cord injury. And we are seeing data from these clinical studies, which no other company has been able to demonstrate. For example, we have been able to restore retinal tissue in a patient's eye. We have been able to close the cavity that comes from a spinal cord injury. And we're seeing very high levels of immunogenicity in our cancer programs. These are all billion-dollar or multi-billion-dollar commercial opportunities. We have important news ahead. We will have a major update on our eye program in just 2 weeks. We have a major program update on our spinal cord program in 4 weeks. And the company enjoys a strong cash position, owing in part to $24.6 million, which we received through the sale of a non-core business last August. We are working to pioneer a new branch of medicine, and that is transplanting whole cells. We harness the power of undifferentiated stem cells. We can make various types of cells. In the clinic today, at the bottom of the slide, we manufacture retina cells, spinal cord cells, and immune cells. We control our own manufacturing. We have a team of 30 individuals who are dedicated solely to our manufacturing facility, where we are doing pre-commercial scale manufacturing for our retina program already. And this shows you our pipeline. And I will note in the green squares that we have received considerable economic or financial support from some very high caliber organizations, governmental and funding organizations, one for each of our clinical stage programs, and these programs are clinical testing. Beginning first with dry AMD. This is a disease which is highlighted by the progressive loss or death of retinal cells. Human beings do not have the ability to regrow retina cells. If you want new retina cells, they will have to come from outside the body and be transplanted into the body. This is exactly what we do. We transplant new retina cells in order to save your vision. This is an enormous commercial opportunity. There is a different disease called wet AMD, and drugs to treat wet AMD are selling more than $10 billion worldwide, but there are no drugs to treat dry AMD. Nothing has been approved. There are no commercial sales of any sort for dry AMD regulated therapies, and so we think there's a great opportunity to compete in this area. As I described, we are transplanting cells. This cartoon on the left shows retina cell death and accumulation of waste material. The cartoon on the right shows what happens when we transplant our cells into the eye. It helps preserve the other cells in the area and clear the waste material. We, at last point, had treated 20 patients with this therapy. We have a major update in 2 weeks at the AAO Medical Conference. And we are seeing exciting improvements in retina structure, reading speed, visual acuity. The growth rate of the area of atrophy in some patients is slowing down. And in particular, we are the only company to ever demonstrate that we could rescue or restore retinal tissue. In terms of vision, these are the patients in cohort 4. Cohort 4 patients are the patients that are intended to be future customers. They are not a safety cohort per se. They are really an early look at efficacy. And as a group, We are seeing improvements in vision, which is sustained. That is important because our treatment is one time. We are seeing benefits that last for at least 1 year, and we have patients that have had cells for 3 or even 4 years. None of our patients have had rejection of the cells, and this is a one-time treatment. This is a approximately 30-minute surgery, which has been leading to these benefits in the eye. Here is an example of what a 10 or 15 letter benefit would look like to an individual. You can imagine that if you previously could only read that letter in the gray circle and improve to the orange or blue circle, you would be quite happy. And these are the kinds of things that we hope to do, and to help people retain their driver's license or be able to enjoy more fully their phones and TV screens. And it's an important, very important quality of life improvement that we hope to deliver. This is an aerial image of the area of damage that a patient has had. The red circle, which has been filled in, is the baseline or prior to treatment. All of the red area is dead tissue. After 9 months following our treatment, that area of dead tissue had been diminished. We had rescued or recovered tissue with our transplant, and that is colored in blue. The reason why this is so important is, again, this is not possible by a human being. A patient cannot regenerate retinal tissue. It requires an external source of retinal cells, which we deliver. So all of the companies that are administering small molecules or antibodies, which require an injection every month, they are not able to do this. Only Lineage has shown a case of retinal restoration, and we are working very hard to try to demonstrate additional cases of retinal restoration. We are seeing improvements like the slowing area of atrophy, which is a positive indication of our effect. And we are using new devices in order to deliver the cells more precisely and carefully and safely to the back of the eye. The competitive landscape is not very deep, and that is exciting considering it is a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. And we can manufacture extremely high numbers. We are currently manufacturing 5 billion retina cells in a 3-liter microreactor. So we're very happy that we already have a very high level of production. Approximately 2,500 treatment courses could come from one of these bioreactor batches. And these are immediate use cells. They are thawed, put into the injection syringe, and immediately treated to the patient. Our clinical trial is nearly complete. We intend to administer a little more than 21 patients, but this is where we are today. We will probably go to 24 patients, and we will have a major update in 2 weeks at the AAO medical conference. The first 12 patients were legally blind, so that is the safety cohort, but the benefits that I have been showing you today are in patients 13 through 20, which are the patients that have less advanced disease and better baseline vision, so they are better potential patients for our therapy. There are many competitive advantages and delivery advantages which we enjoy. We think that we are a company which is well positioned to be successful in the dry AMD competitive landscape. We also are working on spinal cord injury. For these situation, we manufacture a different type of cell. We don't manufacture a retina cell, we manufacture a spinal cord cell. We are trying to help people like this young man who crashed his truck. He was paralyzed, he could not move his arms or legs, and 1 year after treatment, he can obviously operate his wheelchair, he can help dress and feed himself, and here he is throwing a baseball at a sporting event. We have regulatory advantages for this treatment, and we are focused on cervical bones, C4, C5, C6, these injuries which are often attributable to shallow water accidents or bicycling or car accidents. These are the bones that are, these are the nerves that are responsible for your upper extremity motion, and that's the most important mobility. The arms, the fingers, that is what gives you independence and freedom. We do this by administering cells which are capable of producing proteins which your nerves require for mobility, which is damaged. We actually provide the myelin and other proteins which are important for restoration and recovery. As you can see in this image, in the upper image, on the left in the red circle is a damaged spinal cord. There is a gap or a hole present. Electrical impulses cannot cross or jump gaps. It requires material. We provide the same cells that your body naturally manufactures, and we put that into the spinal cord to help with recovery for the patient. There have been 25 patients treated. They have all done very well. No one has ended up in a worse situation. Almost everyone had a successful engraftment, and 1/3 of patients had two upward steps in their mobility scores following treatment. That is very significant because that can mean the difference between requiring around-the-clock care or requiring just a few hours of benefit. So out of these patients, 1/3 gained 2 levels or more. Here's what you could see that looks like. Moving someone from C4, that's an injury here, effectively to C6, which would be lower, and regaining arm motion allows them to be able to eat, use the toilet, operate their wheelchair, and it reduces the burden on the system, the healthcare system, tremendously by gaining independence for these individuals. We have seen very positive safety results. There have not been any safety problems associated with our cells. They are not being rejected, either acute or delayed. They are not causing strange growths within the body. The patients are doing very well, and we want to go into a comparative clinical trial with this treatment and show that we can help patients with spinal cord injuries. Overall, the clinical data is encouraging, and we have been working on the manufacturing to improve the usability and the commercial viability of the program, and we intend to provide an update in just 4 weeks on our manufacturing success. These manufacturing activities will help us approach commercial partners, development partners, and advance this program into further clinical studies. We also have an oncology program where we utilize the power of special immune cells called dendritic cells. They are responsible for presenting antigens to the body. We manufacture dendritic cells instead of retina cells, instead of spinal cord cells. We differentiate those dendritic cells, we load them with an antigen, and that gives your body the information it requires to attack and destroy tumor cells. We could imagine many different programs from this by using different antigens, here indicated in the blue Z shape or the orange, or even a opportunity to be deployed in this setting by using a viral antigen programs that come from this platform. Right now, we are in the clinic in non-small cell lung cancer, and in that lung cancer trial, we have been pleased to see that the patient's immune system has been responsive to our antigen, and we hope to collect more data early next year and complete enrollment in this trial. The company is well positioned with cash to reach major milestones in the near term. We are approximately a 150 to 200 million market cap company with 50 employees and a new management team. I have been here for 2 years, and we have accomplished a tremendous amount in these 2 years by efficiently deploying our capital and focusing on these 3 cell therapy programs and advancing them through clinical trials in order to develop new therapies. We have a tremendous amount of news ahead. I know that you have access to this presentation, but I welcome you to contact myself or the company, and we would be happy to help provide you with additional information about our work and our plans ahead. In summary, Lineage Cell Therapeutics is a growing and exciting cell therapy company. We have 3 programs in the clinic with billion-dollar opportunities. We control our own manufacturing. We have many hundreds of patents in cell therapy. We have cash available into 2022, and we are a rapidly growing leader in the field of regenerative medicine and whole cell transplant to treat disease and condition. We, of course, are dedicated to the patients which we serve, and I welcome you to learn more about what we have enjoyed in our clinical studies in both spinal cord injury and vision at our website, where we provide tremendous amounts of video information about the company. I will now stop sharing and ask if there are any questions that I can answer before the end of the session.
Thank you, Brian. So we have a few questions here in line. The first one being from Mia Su, is asking, what's approximately your burn rate of the company right now?
The company last year or overall this year would spend approximately $20 million. So we have capital available today into 2022, and we have not conducted a traditional equity financing in now 3 years. So we have tried very hard to protect our shareholders from dilution by selling non-core businesses and marketable securities in other companies which we founded and spun off. And we've been very successful in doing that.
Okay. The second question is asking about if you have any strategies to target the Asian markets in the foreseeable future.
Yes, we see no reason why our therapies could not be applicable to Asian populations. The functionality of retina cells or spinal cord cells, or even our dendritic cells, are such that we believe that they would be applicable. They are all allogeneic, meaning they are off-the-shelf cells. They are not taken from a patient, manipulated, and returned to the patient. This is a frozen and then thawed solution, which we think is not tied to the underlying genetics of the transplant, because we are working in areas like the eye and the spinal cord where the immune rejection levels are very low. So we are able to take patients off of immunosuppressive therapy very quickly, and that has been a wonderful surprise for us. So we think that we have opportunities to work commercially with development partnerships with Asian companies, as well as commercially through Asian individuals who could be participating in our clinical trials and ultimately users who benefit from our therapy.
Okay, good answers. The next one, it seems like you have this coming from Timothy. You have 3 clinical programs that they're running at currently. Do you have enough personnel expertise to keep the 3 programs running at the same time?
We have an excellent, experienced team. I can tell you that I myself have been in charge of the world's largest clinical trial in sickle cell disease. That was 388 patients. It was at 75 sites in 15 countries, and I did that with approximately 50 employees. We have approximately 50 employees today, and we are not running any 400 patient studies. So if we are smart and we hire excellent people and we work hard, we're able to conduct these trials just by dedicating ourselves to that cause.
Thank you for your time here today.
Thank you so much, Gil. Have a great day. Bye-bye.